As the two moons slowly shed their light, their arrival in the sky signifies a new tournament has begun. Vying in for our attention, the blue moon and the red moon. The blue moon has got our attention more today. It is more prominent in the sky as David and Kyrios take on each other in the first match. We, the stars of the chat, and the restream team of Esgrunt, Warlink, Vitasia, and myself, Poidrek, look on. Who will emerge victorious? And who will move into the waning section? That's what we're just about to find out. Welcome everyone, welcome to the Highway to the Zemus Zone 5, the Two Moons.
That gave me chills, Poidrek. My goodness, that was fantastic.
Not bad for making it up on the spot, but never mind.
No, and welcome to Highway to the Zemus Zone 5. This is the opening match in the Blue Moon brackets. David versus Kyrios in this opening round. It's our very first match, so thank you everyone for joining us, and this promises to be a fantastic race and a fantastic tournament overall. We'll be talking about everything as we go on, but I think the most prominent thing right now is this new shiny objectives tracker that we have.
Yeah, we actually get to see the objective. Well, we normally do see the objectives anyway because they're written there, but we actually get to see who the bosses are as in their personage. We've got the old gauntlet, who knows what's inside of that. Got Golbez, those are the two static for the Blue Moon, and we have 6 random objectives today. Bomb, Plague, Bahamut, Ogopogo, Leviathan, facing off against each other conveniently, and Asura. You only need to do 7 to complete. You only need to complete 7 to get the crystal. Which 7 will it be, and how quickly will they find those objectives and beat them?
Yes, this is a very interesting flag set with all boss hunts. We have a cane start. Other kind of highlights of about this particular flag set includes that there's only 7 characters that are going to be available to you, and they're going to be in all of the 3 spots. So generally speaking, it's been pretty straightforward that runners build out their party and then start checking bosses from there. And with that, we're off with a Porum early. We have CPU and, okay, we have a Legend Sword to start.
Legend Sword's not too bad. It is super smith, so that could lead to a good weapon for someone.
Absolutely. Not something that you see a lot of folks turn in, but if you have it early and are just in the neighborhood, it's great to turn in because a fantastic weapon could be there for you. Of course, there's always that percentage of just scrap being there as well, and that feels real bad, but this is... this is so different from other tournament seeds and flags that we have seen. I don't know if we've seen a pure boss hunt yet out there in the tournament world or history. And practicing these have been absolutely hilarious and fun, and I've been having a blast. I don't know how about you, Poidrek, but does see immediately go to Mid-City. We have Rosa and Edward joining us right away.
We've got 2 white mages, and we've got a big hitter in Kane. And Edward, strangely enough, could be one of the most potent damage dealers you get in this particular flag set, because we are working with just 7 characters. We don't know who the other 3 are. Kane can do a bit, but he's late game. He tends to fall off a little bit. Edward can wield that spoon to good effect. He's a glass cannon, but he can wield it to good effect.
Absolutely. Spoonword, when activated, becomes just an amazing, just force to be reckoned with. Spoon is, of course, the highest damage dealing weapon in the game. Normally, you can't equip it, but here in the free enterprise world, we like to see that be put to use. So we gave it to Edward. David is making a check, and this is something that we have to get done in the race. Checking these boss spots that in other races we don't normally check because there's not key items associated with it, but we're doing boss hunts. So Plague there in the mist spot, it's very easy to go ahead and pick that up, just because it's right there. Very low HP, might as well knock it out. But David, first one with an objective boss down.
Strangely enough, the team actually made that fight easy. Kane has a spear equipped at the start, which does extra damage to the flying Plague. Rosa has short bow iron, but that still does additional damage to Plague. And I do believe even the harp that Edwards has does additional damage to a flying enemy. So easy fight. Got to get started, and our fifth character so far is Cecil. And I didn't see who was in the Damsian.
That was Palom who was in Damsian. So we do have Black Mage, if that's your poison here. Cecil is kind of an interesting character in this particular flag set, because certainly the most powerful equipment is available and can be readily available if you're willing to take an early dive into some place like the Eblan Castle, for example. And let me tell you, there is nothing more powerful than an early Crystal Sword Cecil. He makes everything easy. Oh, and the freebie item Kyrios just showed us from Edward in the bed, that is our hook. It is required in every single Blue Moon Seed. The intended route into the Underworld is the hook. So getting that, and you kind of know, okay, time to move on. So you don't ever necessarily have to worry about, keep hunting for the Magma Seed. If you want to keep hunting, you can, because there's certainly some boss checks, but that hook is the intended route into the Underworld.
Yeah. And we still do have one last character check up on Ordeals, and since we've got a Cecil, most likely we are going to go up Ordeals before going down that hook. We don't know what's down there yet. It could be a very big gating boss.
Yeah, it could be very nasty. We've had lots of different bosses that are blocking your way into the underground. So you just have to be prepared and be ready to do a little extra in the overworld if you're not comfortable going at it with low levels. That Cecil, interestingly enough, it's something that I don't ever think we'll see someone try to fade Mount Ordeals in this particular flag set, because it's a boss hunt. And not only is it a key item check, but there's 3 bosses up that are relatively easy up on Mount Ordeals. So it's really going to be interesting to see when our runners decide to go up there. But I have a hard time believing too many folks are going to intentionally try to fade Mount Ordeals in this particular tournament.
Yeah, free bosses is a lot to just give up on, especially when they are that easy. Are they going to do them straight away? No, they're probably going to do the normal route here. Even with an early hook, we're likely going to see all of the boss checks checked before going down that hook route. Just make sure you've got all the levels that you can get. If you find something powerful or in a chest somewhere, yes, you might go down the hook route a little bit earlier, but I think we're going to see people clear out the overworld more often than just YOLOing the hook.
Well, absolutely, because there's no reason not to. You'll want some decent levels before you go into the Underworld. Plus, you have to check the bosses anyway. You might as well collect the experience. This one we have our Dastardly Dark Knight. Bit of a mirror match here, but luckily he does not do a whole lot of damage. We just can't roll over immediately and crush this. So let the cutscene play out. and someday you will see justice, blah, 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 and we're done.
You know what? I completely forgot that it was Sineki. Kane didn't start off with a spear. He started off with a dancing dagger, which is good to start off with, but it's something for Palom.
Well, I would say it's something for either Palom, but now that he has level 2 spells for both of these characters, I think it'll be fine. You know, Palom, you really want him to start casting. You don't want him to rely on that dancing dagger. But I tell you what, who else could use that dancing dagger that really can take advantage of it with Sineki is if we're having an Edge that's kind of hanging out there on Mount Ordeals for a final character spot. Edge with Sineki really can be difficult to get going because he needs 2 weapons to really start dishing out much damage. That dancing dagger is perfectly acceptable for him, and I've seen at least one ninja sword rolling around, so he's fully online if we happen to find him.
And if you're wondering what happens when you don't get to you check a character slot which doesn't have a character at this point, well, you get a piggy, which you might have saw briefly on David's side before he reset, but yeah, you get a little piggy. They do stuff, they run off, you're still stuck with your 7 characters in the free spots.
This little piggy went to Fabul. This little piggy stayed in Baron. This little piggy had roast beef. I'm going to finish writing that nursery run at some point, I'm sure.
Good luck with that. Kyrios is making a call to go to Ordeals. This feels early, but there's a lot of experience up here. And getting a Cecil or Paladinized before going to earlier does mean he gets experience earlier, since everything that you gain on him before this point is white. And our last character is Rydia.
Okay, so it's a very mage-heavy party, and Kyrios kind of debating and said, no, okay, so good with Kane and Cecil, Rosa, Palom, and Porum. So this is still a mage-heavy party, but if you can get Cecil online, your melee characters are still going to lead the way, and 2 white mages to support them.
Yeah, I'd actually say this is a pretty well-rounded team, because as Kane and Cecil can bring the physical damage in spades if they get a good weapon, and you've got Palom with a good set of early spells, and you've got your white mages. So I think this is very well rounded, and I don't think anyone would be against having this team. And also second objective already on the board.
Yep, there's that Leviathan, our Doom-ish noodle. He's not quite full Doom-ish noodle. But yeah, those ice tubes do pack quite a punch here.
In this particular spot, yeah, because this is the Mylon and Friends spot, the lit ones needed to hurt a little bit more, so they gave this spot a bit higher than normal or magic attack. So yeah, it's doing a bit of damage.
Now the big waves, of course, are still doing just 25% of the total health of the character. And that's the feature of both Leviathan and Ogopogo. Each wave does a quarter of the health. So if you don't know, that's kind of how you plan around that. And then you just have to worry about healing up in between the phases at that point in time. Of course, Ogopogo has some counter attacks if you end up casting some spells. Leviathan just casts those ice 2s, which can still be very rough. In the meantime, Kyrios does get through. Most of his party gains a bunch of levels, except for his Cecil, which quite frankly, I think we're okay with, because Cecil is going to reset to level 1 after this Mount Ordeals anyway.
David, it has done on Fabul and gained the Twin Harp, so music could be a place people go before Underground, but that's a personal preference thing. Do you want to leave it, or do you really want on that extra experience going down?
One thing that I know I've been doing, I'm just pulling the curtain back a little bit. Something that I've seen other runners do, and what I like to do myself. Oh,
Ow! Yeah, we've got a cane. Doesn't change the spot. The problem of ow.
yeah, Val here is not easy. It's very punchy.
And she's actually, with Kane in the center, she's going to be fairly fast as well. And because Kane's in the center, really the biggest damage dealer in this, I don't think there's going to be enough damage output here.
It's going to be a little bit rough going through here. Kane being the middle slot right now, yeah, absolutely.
Palom can help with the Ice 2s. That's definitely going to be a good thing, especially with the bluffing up. But well, we'll see. It's working out pretty well on Kyrios' side.
Worry, cast that twin, but yeah, we're now going up, and that's a miss on the flare right now.
You need to be a bit careful, because I don't think any real healing has been done at this point in time, so Palom is likely missing a fair amount of MP. Yeah, 25 left. Might be enough, but it all really depends on how Kane rolls for his jumps that hit when Val is out of spin.
Now, both of our runners, David now starting on his Val fight. Worth noting, David did take Rydia over Palom. No summons that we can see. Oh, it does look like Kyrios did get through. Looks like a flare did come through. Well done there on Kyrios' side. On the opposite side, David opted to take the Rydia, and Rydia is taking a nap right now. Don't know if that's intentional to try to keep her down for maybe a slingshot later, or just keeping her as an anchor.
Could be both. With Palom at the Palom is going to learn Virus off of this. We're just about to get a Cecil or becoming a paladin. We've got a Kane and a Rosa. That Rydia looks to be anchor material. I don't like it because I like leveling up a Rydia, but it definitely makes sense for that David to keep that Rydia down. But then again, the buy flag is not on, so you could go back and get her later.
Absolutely. So David slowly working his way through this Val. We're rewarded with a pan at the end of this, so that's an interesting little dip. Kyrios has up to this point avoided Fabul, did not see the boss there, does not know the Twin Harp is there. In past events, it has been popular to try to fade Fabul if you can, so you can route everything together. With the pan right here, this is certainly doable. Now, how long do you want to do that? If something is behind that Twin Harp and David checks it and Kyrios doesn't, and we'll say Mom Bomb is there and just kind of sitting there hanging out, and it's a relatively straightforward fight once you get through. That could make or break the race if it's a long time before Kyrios goes back and checks
it. I think Kyrios has just kept it not away because it is a very large amount of experience relatively, because it's the combined amount of the gauntlet. that will give Cecil a good bump in power before going to, say, Dwarf, which might be a little bit more dangerous on that second fight, which hits like a truck. Because in the first fight, you would only get to level 8, which isn't really a whole lot of hit points for Cecil. With the first fight and Ordeals, he's more likely to be something like 13. So there's a lot more leeway for how much damage he can take, especially if you're going to use him for, say, cover strats, since we don't have any actual other weapons for him.
All right, so Kyrios is actually going to, while he's in the neighborhood, hey, let's make a party adjustment here. You just mentioned it, that you can pick up party members, and he's like, yeah, let's go ahead and ditch Porum for Rydia. Okay, so we're making a white, we only need one white mage, and opting instead to have that Rydia. I gotta think this is for anchoring purposes, because otherwise you'd want Rydia to gain some levels to be a little bit more straightforward there.
Possibly, it's also maybe to get a head start on levels, because it looks like Kyrios is going to. No, it's anchoring. It looks like he's going to Eblan. Time to do. We've got a Cecil. We've got our T Wildish. We need to figure out. Do we have a crystal sword or Excale in play? In one of these chests. There's a good chance for it. Let's play the numbers.
Absolutely, and I really like what Kyrios did. Threw that crystal armor on and put Cecil in the back row. Most everything here in the monster chests will be throwing physical attacks. So if you can survive through the physical attacks, or at least keep everyone up and get them into life where they're in the weakened state, Cecil can cover from there automatically.
And yeah, the wonderful thing about stale men, they are actually immune to instant death. One of the few normal enemies that are.
Oh, speaking of, we have our third boss, actually. Golbez was just sitting in probably one of the rudest places for Golbez to ever hang out. Just drinking coffee at the coffee shop, just hanging out.
With a piggy.
Hey.
Yeah. And yeah, you can set up on this pretty easily if you wanted to. But you're not going to get anything off before, because this spot's actually fairly fast. And the magic in this spot actually hits pretty hard, so these characters are going to die, especially a Rydia and a Palom, who are slower than that Cane.
Yeah, this is not doing very well. One way to get around this that's very popular is knowing that immunity, or where he stuns you. If you are piggied out or you have some other status ailment, you cannot be hit by that. But got it off. Wow.
I am shocked that Starvel happened, but kudos. Now you've got a Palom going into the second spot in the front row against something that is vanilla.
So at this point, okay, try to get some folks up and hope. Oh, yeah, this hurts.
Yeah, unlike the original vanilla Yang, who only just kicks, doesn't do the normal punch, because it's He's programmed with a sword in his hand, so he doesn't actually know what to do with it, and just does nothing. And so he misses a turn and then kicks, misses a turn and then kicks. In Free Enterprise, he actually does hit then kick. So even though it's a slow spot, it still hits hard.
Meanwhile, Kyrios gets through the first trap chest, which of course was the stalemate, and had to take one reset out, but most of the party came back up except for the designated Rydia, who is appearing to be set up as an anchor right now. So Kyrios continuing to loot through, looking for those trap chests. First one was not necessarily anything to write home about, I don't believe.
Armrod, apparently.
Armrod.
Which good for that Palom, but not really what you're looking for. You really want a weapon for that Kane. You really want a weapon for that Cecil at this point.
And worth noting,
Rosa's pretty stacked though. Samurai charm arrows.
Plus, that Cecil is set up to cover most of the party right now, so great setup by Kyrios to be able to clear through this party relatively quickly.
Still taking a little bit of damage. It's not completely free, but Cecil's got enough. We've got Cure 2s. Cecil's got enough hit points at this point. It should be fine.
Question in chat from Flexel. What's the upper leftmost boss in the tracker? Yeah, that is the alt gauntlet. Because we don't know where it's going to be. It could be any one of the monsters. So we just kind of have question mark random evil looking impy sprite.
There's Zircon Rosa, that's going to help a whole lot, and a tiara, which is a piece of armor.
That'll be great for David once he gets over there, because there's also a Bahamut over there.
Now we know we've got Rydia. We know we've got a Bahamut. Do you get him up at this point? We've got a Purim in the Tower of Wishes at the moment, who can act as an anchor. She hasn't got too many levels. She's a bit faster, but it's not going to be too bad.
See, for me, Rydia and Palom kind of occupy the same space, not just because they're black mages, but because they can both sweep through opponents with, the Bahamut or a Quake. I think as soon as you have Quake on the Quake Kid, you don't invest the time to go back if you don't already have Rydia in your party. Personally. That said, Bahamut can make a lot of things very easy.
David Kyrios on the same fight. David hasn't found the other trap chest yet, and is still rocking that level 1 Cecil in the front row, so dangerous spot for him, but still doing okay.
Goes down. Oh, this is going to be tight.
Our 7th character is Edward.
And final trap chest revealed to us an Avenger. So not quite the firepower that you necessarily want to see out of Eblan Castle. You're hoping for a crystal sword or an X-Cal. But
I'll take an Avenger.
I'll take an Avenger. Yeah.
We've got 2 characters that can use that to very good effect. We've got Cecil, or at least on Kyrios' side, with a set of crystal armor. He can cover. Let Kane do the avenging. Yes, that works for me. Hey, we've got Palom who can do spells. We've got Rosa who can keep Cecil alive, and if we want to, we've got a Bahamut at Rydia. So there's a lot going for this team at this moment in time.
Absolutely, it looks like a fantastic team. I don't know. Do you even throw that crystal ring on Kane? Be like, "Yep, we're gonna make you super fast."
Yep, because not only is it making him fast, which doesn't really count with a anchor for as Rydia, but it still has the possibility of giving Kane that additional multiplier for damage.
All right, so Kyrios' turn to try this fantastic Golbez fight, which will lead into Yang. Set up a little bit better. Already has Rydia down.
Yeah, so only 2 people will be eaten. Who those 2 people are will be random. My bet's on Cecil and Kane, just because. Yeah. And David's on Ordeals doing random fights.
I think he's worried, wanting to gain a few more levels before really committing. Still have that twin harp that no one else has checked. Oh, Cecil goes down. Kane's still around, though.
Kane's pretty much the important one. Cecil can catch up very easily. You don't need a whole lot on him anyway. Yeah, this is Kane's show at the moment.
All right, so there's Golbez defeated, but will it stick? Because we have this karate fight. Now, Kane in the back row can take a couple more punches than Palom in the back row could.
And Cecil is the one with the Avenger, so yeah, you really want him up to just deal the damage. And the ouch was completely unnecessary, I do believe.
Oh, we have a vanilla Baron Key from Vanilla. This is amazing because Baron Key is, along with the Earth Crystal, one of those key items that unlocks a couple bosses at this point in time, because it unlocks not only the starting boss, which we got to see, it wasn't one of our objective bosses, but also unlocks the King's Throne, and then the other King's Throne, like the Underthrone. So 3 different boss locations, 2 unknown bosses to us. The Baron Key has really turned out to be one of those key items that I found when I'm doing practice is a must check, because it's so early and has some hidden bosses there.
Yeah, and it's not too hard to deal with. Usually when you're going into Baron and you've got enough power to deal with it. It's sort of at this point, same thing. We're in early 20s. Lots of survivability with the equipment we found. Lots of damage output with the Avenger, with the Ogre Axe, with Palom. Yeah, there's no reason not to at least do the normal throne. The Odin throne might be a little bit harder to deal with, but the regular throne, yeah, you can do that, and you can check the Odin throne to see if you need to come back to it later.
You know what's one problem with the CPU that we have in front of us?
It's a computer.
It is a computer. We also have an Avenger Cecil who's swinging wildly.
It doesn't matter. We've got Quake and Cecil's beelining the CPU itself. Kyrios is fine.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm pretty sure our namebot might have been installed there. And now Palom goes up to the top spot. Time to get there. With Rydia down, Palom's going to be the first one. Get those quakes out early, get them out often. Especially when you've got Omega Sisters who quake.
Yeah, you definitely want to get Quake out of these three. And you know what? Based on the damage that he was doing, I don't anticipate he's going to have any problems wiping this trio out.
Yeah. Or Mindy could just say, nope, not today.
Question in chat from Arafis: where was Plague that David has him and Kyrios did not? Worth noting, it is the Mist Cave. It is one of those checks that a lot of folks make early on. If you don't make some of these early checks, you do so at your peril, because, hey, here's one of the early bosses there. Easy.
And we have nothing. That's one of the no piggy there. They're hiding behind one of the pillars.
Ribbon Quest is asking, was Waterfall Peak? I thought it was, but it's entirely possible that it wasn't. Waterfall was Dr. Luga? Okay. I thought it was something.
So, Adamant, well, there's our forge. So we've got the opportunity for a very powerful item. More and more likely, people have been reporting that the shop itself is much, much more lucrative than the actual item from the forge, which I tend to agree. You can get some really nice things from Kukul's shop.
Absolutely. I think what strikes me is, because we only have 7 characters, when you're doing your looting, like for this particular party, say I find like all those ninja swords we found earlier on, those are instant money, and those sell for a lot of money, honestly. So it's absolutely worth selling those and then seeing what you can buy at the Kukul shop, because you can get another Zeus gauntlet. And here's another required fight.
Odin Throne, Ogopogo. You go away and you hope you don't have to do that one.
Oh, but you know you're going to have to. You know it's going to come.
Well, one of the bosses is not required to be done. We only need to do 7 of the 8. So Ogopogo, maybe that one you don't do, especially considering what the other bosses are.
All right, Plague. So Kyrios will be getting his Plague fight. So now one boss up on David. It looks like David is going into the Underworld. David's going to be their first one to start diving into Cave Eblan right now.
David knows where Golbez is, knows what's behind Golbez, so likely just us going, well, I'm going to risk that the item behind is not a required one. Or yeah, we've got Ogopogo behind there. This is a play that makes sense. Oh, we found Asura.
The other thing we found, that shop was fantastic. It was Bacchus wines and coffins, and that's it. Not having to sift through anything. And how about that for just a random chest pickup? A defense sword.
Yeah, you don't mind hitting the fight here, because you know you've got a Palom that can dish out the damage. You know you've got some good defense in Cecil and Kane, and you've got healing. And this is a chance that you could get a good item, because this is a little bit more gated. It's a little bit higher on the loot pool. Might be that crystal sword.
I mean, if we get back-to-back defense sword, crystal sword, not to mention already having an Avenger, this just becomes a great pickup. But no.
Just some more ninja steel, which really is money, as you said, Ed. It's a lot of money for purchases later. Those Barker Swines, coffins, sirens may come along down the line, so who knows.
David has decided that nope, he's not ready to take on anything quite yet, and has opted to come out, and looks like he's going to be going back into Castle Eblan. I think there might be another trap chest in here that he wants to tackle.
Yeah, the Stalemen and the Skulls, I believe David has not done. I'm not too sure about the Mad Ogres, but definitely hasn't done this particular fight.
Well, he gets the RA1 Quake off, so quick work of those skulls that really can dish out a lot of damage over time if they can get through a round, but otherwise very quickly through that chest. Kyrios, meanwhile, making a beeline, trying to get to the Antlion, and we have the red imps stopping him.
Kyrios has made the decision. No, I'm not going to Ordeals. I got that pan. I'm just going to do that in one fell swoop. I haven't needed to get that full experience. I did Ordeal. I did Eblan. I've done a lot of other things before coming down here. I'm fine. This fight's not an easy, but you've got a Cecil that can do a lot of defensive work. So, especially in the back row. So this should be fine.
Well, you can't do defensive work if you're zerked up, though, which is kind of the problem with Kyrios' setup right now. Cecil is doing great work and he can survive, but he's just going to be zerking and kind of going to town. Meanwhile, this Antlion becomes very, very punchy at this spot, and with Cecil already zerked up, it's going to be difficult for him to protect the rest of his party.
A little bit. Rosa should be able to deal with some of the healing, but yeah, these counters do hit for 200. You don't have a whole lot of hit points, especially when you're doing 1,000. This spot has 25,000, and there's going to be a lot of these counters happening.
There's going to be a lot of the counters, not to mention the regular melee swings from Antlion. So far, Rosa has blinked away a couple of them, but if they hit some of the rest of the party, yeah, that's the 600 to Rydia. This could really hurt after a while.
With the jump from Kane and the quake that happened to Palin, though, I think he's above the curve, so he should win this before dying to damage. Especially if Cecil doesn't get targeted. Yeah, Palin may do, and Rosa may take a couple, but Cecil's really the one that's doing the damage output here, and with those Q2s as well. This fight's in the bag.
Yeah, I will say it's been kind of fortunate up to this point in time, because most of the Antlion's melee swings have gone towards those blinked party members. Only a few hits, and frankly speaking, you want Rydia to fall over to be the anchor. and not gain any experience. So some very fortunate melee attacks here on Kyrios' side, but definitely in control of the fight.
Well, there goes Palom. But that's fine. Lifestyle from the 4 Magdoga chest. It's Knight of 4 Rosa. Still not that payout that David was looking for, though, with those two trap chests.
And there's the shake and the rattle and the roll. So Antlion does go down. Kyrios does get through it. Got a little bit worrisome there, but kept throwing the life potions, kept getting targets out. So fantastic job, him.
Inventory boss on David's side. Not really surprised. He hasn't done a whole lot of equipping or anything like that, and he's got a lot of things that he might want to put on, like that defense sword, some armor for Kane, things like that.
Hey, how about another boss that we need to fight? I'm sitting on top of tower. That was Asura, just hanging out there. Oh my goodness. So we know where Golbez is, we know where Ogopogo is, we know where Asura is. We're 2 bosses away from go mode at this point. We need to find the Fabul gauntlet, we need to find Mom Bomb, or we need to find Bahamut. That's it.
Yeah, that's the big wide range with boss hunts. There's a lot of bosses. However, they may just all appear in the first 8 slots. You can't really put a actual time frame on when you're going to find them, because it's a randomizer. They could be absolutely anywhere.
Well, they could be anywhere, but let's look at what we have. Of the key items that we have that currently lock boss locations, Baron we've already cleared out, which is fantastic. Luca Key, package. Tower Key, Earth Crystal. Now we also do have the Twin Harp, which we haven't checked yet, which I want to know what's behind that Twin Harp personally. But when it comes to checking key item spots, really the only, those all lock one boss behind all of them. Otherwise, we can face check all the other bosses in the Underworld. Then it comes down to finding that Darkness Crystal.
Let's not forget the Earth Crystal as well, because the Earth Crystal is 2 bosses.
Only one of them we can check right now.
Yeah, but it's very unlikely that you're going to, especially with your way underground available. So it's essentially at this point a 2 boss check.
All right, so here's another Lunar Sparkle, and it is Pale Dim.
The palest of dims. Why he's come down to visit the dwarves, who knows? Maybe he was just in a travelling mood.
He was just in the neighborhood and was like, hey, y'all like dragons, right?
Well,
doing his best.
The dwarves sort of live next door to some, so yeah. So who's at number 2 spot here? The answer is not someone that's required, but this could lead into 2 key items, because Warp Glitch is on.
Yeah, but is Palom going to be able to learn Warp? He's close.
Is this where you get Rydia up to just learn those spells?
I don't think Palom knows Warp.
I don't think he does either.
A Warp glitch is turned on for this tournament.
At least on the Blue Moon side.
On the Blue Moon, yes, on the Blue Moon side. So, yeah, worth pointing out. Yeah, I don't think Palom knows because he learns it just before his level 3 spells, and I don't think he knows any of his level 3 spells. I know he doesn't. He just learned Quake not all that long ago. Yeah, if only there was a character that was in our party who learned it, like, immediately or something.
I think it's like level 7.
It's super early. Oh, there's that Earth Crystal.
But, yep, there's two checks. And now you're going to have to hope that you find that Luca Key. Because who knows how many times we've seen the darkness crystal appear in that Luca cave. Just because vanilla.
Yeah, and this seed has already, delivered at least a small helping of vanilla. We got 2 scoops in Baron Inn with the Yang Guard and with the Baron Key right immediately after.
So, straight to Tower of Zot, or do we go and check all the other locations here, like Land of Summer Monsters? There's 2 bosses there. We've also got the pan checks, not leading into bosses, but they're quick and easy key items.
Yeah, given that we only need to know the locations of 3 more bosses, because we know where 2 of them are at. Doing the face checks here and then doing the pan checks, I'm still hunting a little bit for a crystal sword or some better weaponry for Cecil and Kane, because we have some decent stuff, but we don't have what I would call fantastic gear. And a crystal sword changes everything. Plus, you're still hunting for the darkness crystal, so just some checks right there seems reasonable. Plus, if you happen to find the tower key, you can route that in together with your top of the tower that you need to do anyway.
And at the moment, 6 key items, 7 definite once you've done Ordeals. Fabul. And
hi, Bahamut.
There's number 6.
We need one more boss. We need one more boss.
And that is the Kaipo Guard, so that's a pretty nice paycheck with the coffins we've got for experience. Just need to be careful of that Avenger. But actually, that's not a bad thing. You've got 3-star Veils coming up. The Avenger is going to give you a little bit of buff on damage here. This is a 35,000 spot. So you're going to need 4 reflected Mega Nukes. So any additional damage you can get out with that Avenger with these Quakes is going to help. David is through Antlion and on his way to the Underground. Where will his first stop be? One thing to note though with this Bahamut fight is, although you're doing extra damage with these Quakes and with these Cecils, it does mean that the walls are going to be falling off a little bit quicker, so you're going to have to refresh those walls before the second Mega Nuke.
They should have some more Star Veils. I don't recall us using too many of them. As is. Oh, and there he goes down.
Or you could just win before the second Mechanic comes out. That always works.
Oh, hey! Hallam, he just learned Warp.
So, I hear you just beat me. You can now summon me whenever you want.
That was fantastic.
But we already found you and sold you in Eblan. What? We already found you. You're kidding me. No. Well, there.
Yeah, great use of the life glitch there. Most of the health and therefore most of the experience is tied up on the officer. So as these soldiers beat each other and we eventually get through it, using that life glitch there is fantastic. Really going to ramp up the experience that you get here.
Yeah, you could also life glitch this. Personally, I wouldn't, and because the soldiers don't give as much as the officer at the back. But yeah, just kill them out. Now, Quake, Avenger, just as you said, the main one is on the officer. Life glitch him, rest. David is selling the farm,
Close
and
to
we
the
can
farm.
get underground.
Well, if anything, it's another key item. So there's 7 key items right now that we have, and looks like going to be doing Japan and that routing right at the moment, which great to see. And you're really looks like he's trying to get to that 10 key item mark before he does any sort of serious grinding. Not that we found sirens per se, but at least get set up for a grind when you have the ability to.
Yeah, there is there's a bit of a scale on these flags that I've been seeing just looking at them. You've got your boss checks, but you've also got your ways to get to those bosses. So there's a very fine balancing act between the two. At this point, you've got 2 bosses remaining, and you really need to open up those boss spots. So you want to go for key item checks. Next, you really want to find that darkness crystal, which opens up a lot. You want to find something that gives you options.
Absolutely, and that's the tough balancing act, I think, especially with the Blue Moon's flag set, where you absolutely do need to find that balance of, okay, at what point do I flip the switch from, okay, I've been focusing on boss hunts and doing the face checks, now I need to look at key items because I need to unlock some more areas. Okay, now I need to flip back and do more, boss checks. It's going back and forth and prioritizing different things at different points in time. And it's I think the folks who win this tournament are going to be the ones who find that balance, who find some way to manage that kind of tipping point.
Kyrios has managed it very well. Has focused a lot on those boss spots. Now, I need options. He's got all those key items. He's got all these key item checks that he's doing one after the other. So he's going to open up his way sooner rather than later. And Rydia's got experience.
Yay! Let Rydia hit things.
David has finished off Rubicante. I don't think he has warp either. Oh no, he does. So he's going to check this out quicker than Kyrios, and it is.
Ooh, that's spicy.
It's a possibility.
Meanwhile, Kyrios does find 2 more key items in the rat tail and a vanilla spoon, of course. That package, though, it's a time investment, but there is a boss there.
And how many races have we seen won and lost on that package check? Way too many.
Yeah, there's a ton of opportunities there. Kyrios is doing it.
We're still looking for that holy sword.
Great that treasury!
All right, lots of Hanzo steel.
Everything you want for a ninja. Anyone remember where the ninja was? Oh yeah, turned into a piggy.
Yeah, still okay. Silver dwarf, power shirt.
Power shirt, a couple of moonveils. The moonveils would have been nice if it wasn't just the 2 bosses here. Yeah, if Mum Bomb happens to be in one of the hard-hitting spots, those moonveils will be nice. But not really required for your gauntlet. Maybe that Ogo could do well with that, with one of those moonveils on, say, Cecil.
Well, I mean, maybe, but can you dodge big waves? Because with all the percentage-based damage that's being thrown out, I feel like it's.
Yeah, you would only have
There's better
3, but with Cecil and Andrew and relative agility 1, he should be doing maybe just enough to stay alive. Like in this particular fight, it's 20,000 hit points, doing around about 2,000 per hit, two turns for every one of Ogopogo's. You should win.
Meanwhile, Kyrios is going back and says, "Hey, this Ogopogo, I can take this on right now." Has going through the big waves, but Rosa also knows Cure 3. So between the Zerked up melee folks, and this does not incur a counter like any spell casting would. So I really actually like this play by Kyrios, because as long as you can keep folks healed up, this is fine.
And Cecil in the back row, just giving him a power shot, but still fairly heavily armored. Playing really heavily armored at this point with the dragoon and armor, samurai gear. Yeah. They're going to be your damage edge in the Zemus fight. Palom is going to sort of be there, but not really do too much at this point. It's really Rosa, Kane, and Cecil who are your endgame team, I feel.
Yeah, you might have him cast some lit 3s. And by the way, there's the tower key. So we know that there's an Asura there. Hey, if we were looking for an excuse to go do tower, I don't see a better one.
Well, at this point, you've got music, you've got the 2 bosses in the Tower of Zot, or The 2 bosses in tower.
Yep,
You've only
tower's
got
out.
access to 5 bosses.
And I think you follow at this point what is still to this day the age-old wisdom of free enterprise. Do your objectives. We know where Asura is. We know that's a key item spot anyway, so your darkness crystal might be there. You have the tower key now, so might as well check that on the way up as well. And go.
Yeah. David picking up Bahamut and Bahamut. Sort of just had a little bit of an issue just picking up levels and going through that Eblan. That's really the difference so far in this particular race. Kyrios has had a wonderful time. I'm just going through, getting the levels, making all the correct routing decisions. David just had a slight hiccup up in that Eblan area, and that's the difference in time so far. Well, David isn't really too far behind apart from that.
All right, so we're at this Asura now, which, we're still probably going to melee our way through. I believe Rosa probably knows Wall by now.
Should do. But setting up for Rose to be the top, so of course Rydia gaining those levels does get a fair amount of agility, and it looks like Rosa's not relative 1 at this point.
No, just enough agility to cause things to be a little bit out of whack right now.
Wall is still up on Asura. Cecil's swinging, Kane's jumping. Palom is on the ground.
It's all right. Palom gets knocked down, but he'll get up again. You're never going to keep him down.
Wow. Until we get hit again, but maybe he'll get healed. Well, maybe not.
See, he gets knocked down, but he'll get up again.
Will it be before Cecil finishes the fight, though?
That's a good question. Yeah, because we're getting close here.
Yeah, there goes the jump. You can almost set your watch by it. Just
There's
the
a
silent
silent
stuff.
staff.
So a mage killing weapon from a mage. David is making the music play. Has had the twin hub for a while now. Does have the earth crystal as well, so looking to go, but also hasn't done the Baron in yet. So this is a good loop here. Music into earth crystal into Baron in, which will go into Baron Castle. And we know
it's a lot of those checks done. Yeah.
And we're still looking for that darkness crystal. Darkness crystal could be here. We're still looking for one of those bosses, the gauntlet or Mum Bum could be here.
If either one are here, that's no mode, at least as far as we're concerned. And we could completely fade the moon, which is always a welcome sight. Kyrios also checking this tower key, as well.
That is a Mylon. That is not one of our bosses, but it could be that darkness crystal. And David has had everyone perish. Music is on its way. And with a couple of swipes from David, well, of Cecil on David's side, Elements is down.
Yeah. I trust Xenocat in chat to recognize Xenogear's song, so I'll just believe you at this point, Xenocat.
Nothing of real value in the cave, though. Oh, Elements into a pink tail. Not what you're looking for at this point.
Nope, and Kyrios just turned in the rat tail for the pass. So running out of options, I think we're left with the Earth Crystal? Is that it?
Earth Crystal. Yep. Just the Earth Crystal at this point for bosses.
Oh, David getting ready to check for Hanzo Steel on his side, or want some burr, but is just going to get some money.
Yeah, Turbo Troy is correct. We do have the package on the table, or from that warp.
Yes, but that can only be our boss. I mean, we do have the pass, so we could immediately go kill Zemus, yes. But we still need a way to the moon. So I gotta feel like the Earth Crystal has to be, if not the Darkness Crystal, then Luca. No, because we saw what the warp item was.
Well, not necessarily. Hey, if we know we've got access to the pass, we only need one boss, and if that's up on Tower Zot, you're done. Or at that package, you're done. Actually, no need to go to the moon.
Well, yes, I mean, but logically, like, doesn't the key item required is required to be here?
It's very likely that the Darkness Crystal. It's almost certain that the Darkness Crystal is here in Zot. If there's a boss at the package, Moon will have the other one. If there's no boss here, so that is a way back for David by not having to go through the moon and search that.
There is the super low % possibility that the two bosses are exactly at the package and at the loop, and Luca Key is somewhere.
Yeah. We know this one is not one of them because we've only got we've got 2 lunar sparkles on our tracking list, and we've seen both of them. D Lunas Well, Cecil's going to be swinging, but each beast only have 4,500 health. You're good.
Yeah, that it should be fine. Meanwhile, just D-Lunars on the first boss. David is going to be showing us the second boss.
There's one piggy. Regular colouring, so some people have been looking into the colours of the piggies here in Zot to get a peek of the boss, I do believe.
And I like that play from Kyrios, not even bothering to wait through the cutscene or the exit or the flyback. Immediate reset. Oh, hi, Wyvern.
This is a terrible spot for a Wyvern.
Very high magic attack in order to let all those weaks and stones land. And we didn't safety save.
The good thing is we do have a base level Rydia on David's side, so you know that Wyvern is there. You're only going to be surprised by it once. However, Kyrios is likely to be surprised by it once.
Yeah, but Kyrios has played. I don't know what his agility setup looks like, but he's kept that Rydia down pretty much the whole time and in the middle.
He did have that one unsettled level, and Alan currently top, so it's not big cut for agility, so that Wyvern may still get the first turn off, even with Cecil swinging with that Avenger. Or at least the second turn, and after one swing from Cecil, and Cecil will not do 6,000 in one hit.
Either way, this is, knowing that this boss is currently, as far as we're concerned, gatekeeping, is terrifying. Knowing that Wyvern is gatekeeping our way to the moon, and really, unless the final boss is at that package spot, the entire race.
Unity, Cecil's still in the middle with that, but one reflected Mega Nuke is 9,999 damage. Yeah, David's through. You won't, as I said, you only get surprised by this once.
Turn that battle speed all the way down to Wyvern standard time.
So, Kyrios, Shock, Horror, Mega Nuke.
Nope, there's that Mega Nuke.
Yep, Shock, Horror, Mega Nuke.
Surprise! Blah! And neither Kyrios didn't save either. So Wyvern is 2 for 2 for doing his job today.
Yeah, it was exactly as I expected. It's Cecil getting one swing off, then Wyvern going straight after, just because of where Palom is in that. Because he's just not, because of those few levels that Rydia got, Palom is not relative 1 and is not buffering anyone else.
So worth noting, David, now with the Darkness Crystal, has a decision to make. I mean, he'll have to.
The best decision that can be made at the moment is to remove the Avenger and put battle speed back up to 1.
Well, yes, but is going to have a decision directly in terms of he's about to get the Baron Key. Now we know that Ogopogo is there in the Baron basement, but David has the knowledge of, hey, I need either, Mom Bomb, Fabul Gauntlet, or Ogopogo, and I have the Darkness Crystal. Do you go to the moon?
It's numerically a very good play, especially since we're late into the seed in terms of boss checks. There's not a whole lot left. There's 6 bosses up on the moon. There's 2 on the giant.
5 on the moon and 2 on the giant. 6 key items, 5 bosses.
There's 6 Bahamuts, but often the 5 Luna.
Oh, you're right, 6. Sorry.
I had to count them myself then, just to make sure I was getting that correct.
No, you're right. Okay, so 6 plus 2, so that's 8 total that's unlocked from the Darkness Crystal. And as far as he knows, he has 2 Baron checks, a package check, and a Luca Key. So there's only 4 possible spots on Earth. So 4 versus 8, you're looking at 3 bosses, and you only need to find 2 of them. The math checks out. Just go to the moon.
The big question is, why are we doing math?
Because that is all the Blue Moon flags are about. It is nothing but fractions and percentages of what key items unlock which boss spots and what percentages go where, and it's nothing but math, and it is torture.
And David is making the play into Baron, going to find CPU, Mega Sisters, and that Ogopogo. While Kyrios is, saying bye-bye Earth. I've got a date on the Blue Moon. So, which boss do you think we're going to find to finish this up?
Knowing our luck, we're going to find a very rude Fabul Gauntlet. And it's going to be... I think Mom Bomb is probably buried on the giant, if I'm honest. Or I want it to be there because I want the rudest of rude Fabul Gauntlets at the Masa Mune spot.
That's an okay spot for it, but my real hatred is the Crystal Sword Altar Gauntlet because of the Ahrimans, the Plague lookalikes, and how slow they are.
And not to be super rude, but hey, there's sirens finally appearing up on the moon after we're just about done with our levels.
At this point, though, Kyrios is just face checking, and he's going to get a couple of levels. He's just going to face check these bosses, find one he needs, and then run with it. The only thing we're missing now on Kyrios' side is the Luca Key or the package, and that's just 2 spots. His math is a whole lot more tailored to the moon and giant.
Now, where was that package? Because I know that David found it and Kyrios didn't.
Using the warp glitch to go to back to Luca.
Right, okay.
David has found the Nook Noodle. Using that cure free to effectively nullify some of the damage and letting Cecil and Kane do their thing. Sort of very much the same as what Kyrios did, just slightly different on positions.
Yep, when in doubt, letting your melee characters do bad melee things, not a bad strategy.
Kyrios, though, yeah, these are his levels. This is where his levels is coming along. There's no real need for anything else.
Well, that'll slow down your grind. Oof.
Yeah. Paralysis does that. But that's where the heal potions, the heal spell comes into play. And Quake can deal with a bit of damage in the meantime. David still needs to go up and do that Asura, so Tower Key could be their next move. After finishing up Baron, didn't do anything. Didn't actually do the main throne. Went and did the Odin throne first, which is a little bit quicker, slightly depending on this particular boss. In this case, this should be Cecil's just going to swing, and yeah, this is going to be fast.
Meanwhile, Kyrios on his third King Ryu grind. I think at this point,
Cecil has been paralyzed in every single one of them so far.
That's just bad luck, right there. Red Zone Nova didn't catch the first hour, so where did David get behind? A lot of it had to do with when they both ended up going to Castle Eblan. Kyrios had a crystal armor that he put on Cecil, put Cecil in the back row, kind of let Cecil do cover stress through all the trap chests there. David had a little bit of a harder time. Either did not have the crystal armor or didn't equip the crystal armor onto Cecil, which meant that David took at least one wipe to the trap chests, if not others. So spent more time in Castle Eblan than I think he would like. And that, other than that, these two runners have been following kind of in each other's footsteps the entire way.
And this is the play that could get David back in here. If this is one of the required bosses, and everything else is, and the other one is squirreled away in Luca Cave, this could put David back in the driver's seat. We'll have to see what Kyrios finds in the Lunar Subterrane, but this is, if you're feeling behind, this is a good play to make.
So it's the piggy check. The pig will cast a mighty nuke or quake here. Meanwhile, Kyrios will be checking bosses.
Or you could get sliced ham.
Like, come on, pig. Call your Titan buddy. Call your Titan buddy.
First boss on the moon, on the luminous subterranean, is not one of the two required.
4 more. 2 down, 4 to go. All right, so if it all comes down to this, folks. If David finds either Mom Bomb or the Alt Gauntlet here, he's back in the driver's seat. Still has to go kill Asura, but otherwise in the driver's seat.
Mum Bomb is the ideal one. You don't really want to fight the Alt Gauntlet even in this spot. Mum Bomb is easy. Kyrios would then have to fight the Alt Gauntlet somewhere, and that's a lot longer with all the spots required. But no, that's Bygone.
No, that's it. Bygone. Womp womp.
So, David, where are you going next? Giant or to the moon?
You know, if you feel behind, I wouldn't put him past to put a giant check. Because the meta right now is everyone checking attained value and going through and kind of doing the top-down checks. If you're feeling behind and you only need one more, hey, go for it. I'm a little concerned why he hasn't already done Asura. Especially
he knows where it is. He doesn't know where the other ones are. I think that's the mindset for that one. For that, he doesn't know where the other boss is yet. He knows where Asura is. He can come back to it.
All right, so we have another check here by Kyrios, and it is demissed. Okay.
Demissed does not hold a key item. Is not one of our required bosses. 2 down, 3 to go.
He is going to the giant. We have divergence. There is still hope, David.
Oh, there is the gauntlet. All gauntlets at the lunar spot. Honestly, this is one of the better places for it. 1D fossil, a gold dragon, a Ginryu, a gold and silver dragon, a Kingryu, a Ginryu and Kingryu, and then 2 trickers. This is you only really need to get through the first 3. Then the last 2 are easy. Yeah, this is a good outcome for Kyrios. And
Absolutely.
We're not going to see him come back to the Earth. He's just going to run from here.
Yeah, levels look good. I mean, and it's Rosa and friends at this point. You got 2 melee who are going to be able to dish out the pain. Rosa, who can heal through and survive even an under Big Bang. Palom, who, you know, is probably not going to be activated to do nuke, but hey, throw a reflected, lit 3 through and you're perfectly fine.
That is an easy fight. David may just do the giant just for his levels, especially with a water hag first.
I mean, that's not bad.
It's an easy, 250,000 experience at this point. And Rydia's going to get a lot of experience if she stays alive. But no.
Trying to get Cecil up here so he does get experience.
And yeah, this fight's in the bag. Kyrios is also pretty much in the bag. We've got trickers, 2 trickers here. They're going to peep at themselves. Sound terrible. Going to tell the party about themselves. Just have a seat, sit down, and just talk about themselves for a bit, and then Cecil's just going to say, "I don't care," and just smack him a few times, and then gone. This also gives him all the levels he needs for the rest of this.
And does turn out that his Palom will learn Nuke. So, okay.
Well, with 3 double gold dragons in this particular fight, that's a lot of experience happening.
Yeah, and we're at triple experience or double experience. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh yeah, we're well over 10 key items.
And
but okay.
It was close. David did easily the correct move and go to the giant here. So we're well played for that. Still needs to go into Asura. It has been said that he may not have peeked it, he may not have seen it, so doesn't know it's at the top of the tower. So it may still be going to the giant, go to the moon. Kyrios, though, there's the crystal. You're going to check the items? Defense sword and Luca Key.
Of all the things. Okay, Luca Key. But here we are, 1 hour, 33 minutes, and we are in go mode. We are getting everything set up and saving, and our levels are fine. We're in the 50s. This is power overwhelming at this point in time.
Yeah, we've got Barkus Wines, we've got an Avenger, we've got a very high level Rosa, we've got a Palom with Nuke, we've got a very good stable anchor in Rydia, gained a few levels but still stable anchor. We're off to the final fight for Kyrios. And we have a question. And I'm going to say it today. I don't usually say it, but I'm going to say this question. I know, shocker, isn't it?
I am shocked.
Yeah. Because the question is not what you're expecting. It is, in the name of the moon, we shall punish who?
I put point of order. I believe it's whom.
Yes, but it doesn't change. Doesn't rhyme with moon. Well, it does, doesn't it? Anyway, I'm just hoping that people have imagined a dragon and twirling around, glammed up, and doing Sailor Moon poses.
I mean, yes, that's true. But the more traditional question, I suppose, is whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
Nah, not this time.
No, not this time. It's
nah. I've already put it on for other people to do it, and this is to appease Ali, Alicil, Alchemy, and everyone else who's out there who thinks it's great. We're going to have it catch on. We're going to have it as the main thing for this tournament.
You're going to have to write that out for me so I can remember that, because I have a feeling I'm going to have to say it a couple times.
And we're punishing tonight Sigma.
Sigma is, I mean, I really enjoy this sprite just because I really enjoy Mega Man X as a series. Just very spot on, and seems to match the theme of being on the moon and being just kind of this nice overpowering boss right now. Well,
overpowering the boss, not overpowered boss. Not with this group, unfortunately.
No, this group is going to melt right through Sigmas. You're going down faster than you did in Mega Man X2.
Rosa with White, Palom with Nuke, Cecil with Avenger, Kane Berserker, Rydia looking on saying, well, I'm doing stuff.
Rydia is actually one of the more important characters in this party. Because Rydia is allowing everyone to just outspeed Zemus so fast.
Yes, but I really feel that if you've got this amount of levels and you've got this amount of power, you don't really need an anchor like this. I actually think it's slowing this fight down slightly because you're not having 5 people hit hard instead of 4. I see things a little differently to some other people, and who knows. David has seen Odin on the Bahamut phone, said, nope, let's move on. I'm still looking for that one boss. Well, 2 bosses actually. Yeah, 1 boss. They've done one bomb, so they're likely going to be finding Gauntlet down in the Luna room very shortly. Kyrios, so this fight is, I think it's what, 3 more hits in. I don't think we're even going to see a Meteor.
I doubt. He's just burning through this very quickly. Oh, and that was just a shake. Okay. No, there it was. That was
a shake. It was a shake, and then he just shook in fear. Kane said, "Well, let me finish you off," and then he shook for good. And Kyrios now has won, beating Zemus and David in a time of 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 56 seconds.
Alright, we'll see if Kyrios is available here. And we are now joined by Kyrios, winner of the very first Highway to the Zemus Zone 5 race this year. GG's, Kyrios.
Thank you very much.
All I want to say is that was smooth. You had it looked like you had a plan going through that.
Yeah, thanks. What can I even say about that seed? It was a little bit of a mess, but I thought I did a couple things I wasn't happy about, but it worked out pretty well. I mean, in any seed where you have to dig pretty heavy on Earth for the Darkness Crystal, and there's some bosses there on the way too, I feel pretty confident, just because of how I tend to like to clear methodically, so it worked out pretty well for me.
Pick bosses on the Earth pretty quickly. Then it was that deep dive for the Darkness Crystal, only found in Tower of all places, because why would it be anywhere else? At that point, having the two bosses left, but very few spots really easy to find, but some out of the way ones that you knew were not accounted for or through your key items at that time. Did anything run through your mind as saying, this might be an issue?
No, I mean, because I only had 2 spots I didn't have access to, Luca Key and Package, and if those are the last 2 bosses and objectives, I mean, A, sure, sometimes that's going to happen, you're going to lose, but B, I think that's going to be a challenge to my opponent for most seeds anyways, so I wasn't worried about that. I was pretty worried that either I had missed a cheeky Holy Sword somewhere, or that the Luca item was Darkness Crystal, because obviously I didn't have Warp when I was in Dwarf Castle, so that could have been a real bad thing if that had been the way it worked out. But other than that, I felt pretty good. Like I said, I lost a little time here or there. I probably should have been a little more careful of the Wyvern in that spot, and there were a couple other things that were maybe a little loose, but for the first match of the tournament, I was pretty happy with how I ran it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that warp, because it looked like you had expected Palom to have warp there, and I think you were just like one level short there. Did you?
Yeah,
Was it a miscount or what happened?
it was a miscount on the experience. I thought the second fight would give him just enough, and it did not.
Well, didn't turn out to be required. It was the package in there,
Okay.
Which only led to Biden, so nothing too special. We did see where Mum Bomb was CPU spot, so
Oh, ugh.
yeah. So you sort of dodged a bullet, but you also found the all gauntlet, which just built up some levels for you. You were fine anyway, but built up some levels.
I was definitely hoping that it would be in the ribbon room either way, gauntlet or not, just because getting Palom to nuke makes that Z fight so much quicker. I mean, it's safe enough at that point anyways with the HP totals, but once you have nuke, you don't have to worry about the second big bang.
Did you ever consider, because I believe you had both the Adamant and the Legend Sword very early, and Super Smith is turned on. Did you ever consider turning that on?
So I thought about it. For me, I was either going to do that or the Treasury. Like in both cases, get a chance at something a little bit stronger. And I happened to go to the Treasury, and the power shirt's nice. It wasn't great, but because obviously, like even a defense sword there is a pretty big upgrade given what I'm sitting in my party. It was fortunate to get that out of the last chest there too. But to me, like spending the time on doing both there, I really start to feel the clock ticking.
You didn't happen to do it afterwards and could tell us what's actually
sorry.
there, because chat is so wanting to know what was at the Super Smith.
Oh, I'm so sorry. In retrospect, given how much money I had between the money and the gear sitting in my inventory, Super Smith might have been a better play, just because that shop on these flags is often just the absolute nuts.
Yeah, it is. Power shirts are usually found pretty well in there. White spears, nothing usually for Cecil, but you had an Avenger, so it wasn't as bad. It was mostly just making sure Kane could keep up.
Yep.
Now, I don't, congratulations on your first win of the tournament. We're going to advance, and I don't want you to look past Moleboy, because Moleboy is a very capable and wonderful runner. But looking at the tournament, the next race immediately after that one.
I say, are we referring to the fact that the entire commentary team plus the tracker are all in my quarter of the Blue Moon bracket?
I mean, yes, a little bit, yeah.
I mean, it's a really strong bracket. I was going back and forth on whether to do Blue or Red Moon, and I think I like the Blue Moon flag set a little more. And it turns out that it's not all the competitions in the Red Moon. There's a lot of great competition in this Blue Moon bracket. And I think, not to say too much, but especially the quarter that we're in has some people who it's going to be a fight to get through it. And whoever gets through it's going to be in good shape to keep advancing, I think.
Yeah, not to say anything about the other quarters because everyone's good. But in my opinion, and we've got some of the toughest matchups to get through, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good matches all the way through. It's going to be a viewer's pleasure.
For sure.
For us, it's going to be absolutely terrifying. But
yeah, and I should say, Moleboy, we were in the PPL2 together, and he's a great runner. He's beaten me more than once, so definitely not looking past that.
Yeah. We're interested to see what happens next with you. We'll be on the lookout for your races. I'm sure a lot of people in chat will be, and all we can really say is the best of luck.
All right, thank you very much.
Except when you're racing us.
That's how it always goes at these tournaments. Best of luck until you're racing me, and then we will crush you.
All right. Oh,
but thanks again, GG's.
I'll say thank you. Thanks, Poiderak and Vitasia, for commenting. Thanks, Warleak, for tracking, and Escrunt for hosting and shepherding us all through the race room. So thanks for everything, and have a great night.
And one last GG's to Kyrios, advancing out of the first race in Highway to the Zemus Zone 5. GG's to him once again. David continuing on, getting, I think when you're this close to being done, you're like, yep, let's just go ahead and finish this out. Great on David for continuing to finish this out. This was, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and say it. This was not the easiest early starts. You had your Kane and Cecil. It was a very balanced party, but missing a lot of that heavy hitting firepower. I think that is nice for the early party. No over-leveled Sid or Edge to help get you through an early mount Ordeals. So
no early Holy Sword for that Cecil, which is really surprising. Yeah, we've got an Avenger, but it's not a Holy Sword.
Yeah, so even the mid game to late game, it was not quite as structured or as zoomy as some of the other seeds that are out there. So yeah, I mean, when Kyrios said, he's worried that you missed the Holy Sword, an errant crystal sword somewhere would have made a night and day difference. Probably a 15 to 20 minute difference depending on when you got it in this seed.
And David did do a couple of extra trap chests going through the hook route, which may have gained that crystal sword. It didn't, and unfortunately for David, but the possibility is there.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, David is also looking at a power overwhelming setup, about the same levels that Kyrios had set up, and it's getting a Starveil set up, getting ready to do all of the nukes and zerking everyone up. So just a fantastic race. So this is going to be very, very fast on David's end as well.
Yeah, Cecil's already swinging, and Kane's been Barker's wind. Here come the nukes. Here come the whites. Here comes the random big bang that will knock Rydia over. But right, no nuke.
No nuke. He looks like he's high enough level for nuke. Maybe he got Medio and not nuke.
Maybe he used some apples. That would account for the additional thing. Definitely acting like he doesn't have nuke. So overall, though, Cecil and Kane should be able to fix this pretty easily. Yeah, then it does look like the levels are just not quite as much. Or maybe it's the equipment as well for the Kane, because it's not quite as much damage. Kyrios' Kane was doing 3000s, most likely had a bit more strength gear. Well, so that could be the difference here.
Oh, and Kyrios saying the Asura rod with white spears in the shop for anyone who is still wondering. So
no one can use that.
You. Yeah, no one. That wasn't going to be used.
And white spears, they're nice, but we had a defense sword, so Kane, not really a great upgrade for Kane either. So.
No, I keep trying to figure out the math, and all I hear is, white spear is fine, it's fantastic, but it does not necessarily become better than the defense sword until like level 70 for Kane or something like that. So
I think it's 60. 62 or 63. But
Levels where the power no longer becomes a question on if you can beat the boss.
essentially, yes. Black Hole has come out. I do believe we're in phase, in the nuke phase for Sigmomus. Yep, there's a nuke. Rosa should shrug it off? Yeah. Not really a whole lot of defensive gear on Rosa. I don't think we've found a lot. We found ribbons, tiaras. We've got a lot of headgear, but not really a lot of other, lot of body armor for Rosa.
No,
but
no stork robes, no white shirts, no nothing. Yep.
So this fight is pretty much in the bag. And David, it was also briefly a winner there, but coming in second place with a time of 1 hour, 53 minutes and 4 seconds. Going down into the waning bracket of the Blue Moon, but putting a great show today.
Yep, GG's David. We'll see if he's available to chat with us real quick. And we are now joined by David. GG's, sir.
Well, thank you. I'm not particularly happy with the way I played the first hour, but
yeah,
I played the second hour.
It seemed like you just got caught up in that little area around Eblan, and that sort of is what we feel was the big difference. You just didn't have as good a time in Eblan and as Kyrios did.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It didn't even occur first off, it didn't even occur to me to keep the crystal armor until afterward when one of my friends messaged me, 2 minutes ago, after I'd already finished while I was waiting to be interviewed. But that aside, even I don't know. I guess I just felt 2 steps behind is the right way to say it, because I thought to take the siren, but I thought to take it too late after I was already off of Mount Ordeals, and I just turned on the encounters on the way up. So that wasted time there, not just taking the siren to get virus on Palom before then. And then what else? Everything, well, that was the start of it, and then everything around Eblan, I didn't think to make a save before in the room in Eblan Cave before you start diving down the hook route that I could reset out to if I didn't find Crystal Sword on the way out from the chest that I didn't take before because I was waiting for Quake, the Staleman, or not the Staleman chest, or yeah, the Staleman chest in Eblan. What else? My death to Antlion that I could have prevented by just being more safe like I did the second time around. Not peeking the top of tower. Trying to think if there's anything else that I can think of off the top of my head. That's everything that stood out to me that I can remember.
Yeah, the top of tower, peeking the top of tower doesn't take too much. It's just 2 spaces to the right, 2 spaces to the left. But we was wondering why you wasn't going back to that until it got pointed out. But didn't really change too much in the end. You went to the giant, found Mum Bomb at the back there, which gave you levels. It was ready for the moon. All you had to do was find that one boss in your gauntlet in Ribbon Room, which gave you even more levels, but got you ready for the final fight just a little bit later than you wanted.
Yeah, so I didn't peek on the way down because I forgot, because I don't know what it is. I guess maybe it's just muscle memory and me not. I keep trying to remind myself to do it every single Blue Moon practice seed I've done at the start of this seed, but then I just can't remember in the moment. It's just something I need to work on. But I never went back because the back half of this, I assumed based on everything that happened to me at Eblan that I was losing the race, and after I had already forgot to peek on the way down, I figured that it would be better to just assume that if it's there, then I was already going to lose. And the only way that I could even possibly gain time is if I fade it and it pays off, which in the end it didn't, but I thought that that was the best play after having already misplayed and forgot to peek it. And then what else? That's also the reason that I took Package and Giant when I did before going up to the moon, because I thought the only way that I was going to gain back time is if those paid off.
Yeah, we were cheering for you through those plays as we were watching it, because it made sense, you know, when you take those early wipes and you know you feel a little bit behind. The only way to save the run is to gamble a little bit, making those low percent plays, and we've seen it pay off in previous tournament successes. And Mom Bomb being where it was at CPU was at least one win. We were hoping, you know, the possibility there was still for the boss to be at the Luca Key, which was still a little bit buried, but just didn't quite roll out this way this time, unfortunately. But you still played a heck of a race, even with, you know, other than those miscues. Like you said, you kind of laid out everything, but you weren't that far behind through all of it. I think the final time doesn't reflect really how close this entire seed was.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Like I said, I'm honestly pretty happy with the way that I played the back half. It was just the missteps around Eblan. Even then the front half, I don't, other than those missteps from Eblan to getting underground, I think the early game, there was nothing massively wrong.
Yeah,
I think
totally agree. You played it. You played the seed for what it was. You had a couple of hiccups. You want in the second half, after you were just flying, and you made the correct plays for what you needed to do, and that 15 minutes is all from those little missteps, which I'm sure you're going to shore up for your next race.
I'm gonna do my best. I will at the very least remember them, and then be upset at myself when I do the exact same things again. But third time's the charm, you know?
Well, there's one small issue with that. There's no third chances in this tournament.
Yeah. I'm gonna do my best to stay in.
Yeah. You've got a week off before the Wayne in bracket race. We don't know who your opponent's going to be yet, but I'm sure you're going to practice up. You'll be looking at that particular race, who will give you your opponent, likely in earnest and readying yourself, mind, body, fingers.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do my best to practice up. I'd like to stay in. I don't want to go 0-2, but I don't doubt that is the possibility.
Someone's got to. But let's hope it's not you. So, any other things, Fantasia or David?
Only other thing that I've got is something I'm honestly a bit embarrassed that I've forgotten to do the last 2 times I'm on Restream, but thank you very much to both you and Vitasia for commentating, S-Grunt for restreaming, and Warlink pushing the buttons, and all of you out there watching the stream, and everybody who's putting on the tournament.
Well, thank you, David. We certainly appreciate it. We couldn't do the stream without folks like yourself running as well. So, GG's to you, and best of luck at the rest of the tournament.
Thank you very much.
One more shout out to both Kyrios and David, our 2 runners tonight. Give them a follow here on Twitch if you like what you saw. That'll do it for the first race. Way to open up Highway to the Zemus Zone 5. That was a great run, wasn't it, Poitry?
It was, and don't think that we're going to leave it off here. We've we're going to be passing you over to another race that's currently in progress on the Free Enterprise channel. It is Wubear versus Kabahi in another Blue Moon play-in. Please remember, do not spoil this race. The people over there may not have seen it and do not want to be spoiled because they want to watch it themselves. Otherwise, have a good evening.
Take care, all.